Now, I've worked 5 jobs over the last 5 years. Here's 5 powerful lessons. And now I don't want this to feel like I'm reading my CV out loud. So I'll put more information about the jobs in the description down below. Because the point of this conversation is for me to share some food for thought to help you on your own journey. Now, anyways, on to the first job. Now, my first job was a residence advisor at the University of British Columbia. Now, after 3 years of doing the job, I came to realize the power of our attention. Because time isn't our most valuable asset, it's our attention. Because I would honestly rather that you watch 1 minute of this video with your full undivided attention than you watching the whole video with your mind and your body being in two completely different places. Because maybe you're looking at the screen, maybe you can hear me every now and then, but your mind is thinking about the next midterm you have. Your mind is thinking about the next video you're gonna watch. Now you see, one of the best gifts you can give anyone that you love, including yourself by the way, is your attention. So the next time you have a conversation with someone you love, you don't need to give them 1 full hour of your time. Because 15 minutes of your undivided attention is worth more than 1 hour of you not being present. And by the way, this also applies to yourself because you spend 100% of your life with yourself. So I want you to ask yourself, how much attention have I been giving myself? Now that's something to think about. Now, similar to my first job, my second job was as a teaching assistant at the University of British Columbia. Now, the biggest takeaway I had from being a teaching assistant was the power of communication. Now, you can have the best, most genius idea in the world, but if you don't know how to communicate that idea to other people, then it loses a lot of its value. Now, whenever I had a new concept that I wanted to explain to my students, I would simply go to someone who didn't know anything about economics and I would try to explain that concept to them. And if they understood the concept, I was good to go. If they didn't understand the concept, that meant that I wasn't effectively communicating my message. So if you truly want to know if you understand something or if you can effectively communicate it to other people, try finding someone in your life that doesn't know much about the concept you want to explain. And see if you can explain it to them. If they understand it, you're good to go. If they don't, there's still some work to do. Now, I promise this is the last one, but as my third job, I worked as a research assistant at the University of British Columbia. Now, the lesson I had from this job was the power of passion. Now, for my research assistant job, I didn't learn the lesson while I was doing the job. I actually learned the lesson in my final year of university when I was doing research for my honors project. Now, as a research assistant, I was doing research on the impact of COVID on our society, which was a topic that I wasn't super duper passionate about. So after finishing the job, I was so grateful for the opportunity. But I thought to myself, maybe research just isn't for me. Until I did my honors project in my final year and I did research about the economics of sports. More specifically, I got to do a topic completely about football. Now listen, I'm not saying that if you find what you're passionate about, then you're gonna enjoy every single moment of it. But when the discipline or motivation start to fade away, I promise you, having a passion for what you do can take you a long way. My fourth job was not at the University of British Columbia, and I worked as a football assistant coach in Montreal. Now, the lesson I had from this job was the power of encouragement. Now, after losing the first 2 games of the season, we started to realize that the players didn't even believe in themselves. So then me and the head coach shifted from solely focusing on the technical ability of the players to also working on the mental aspect of the game. So for example, if our defender made a good tackle in the game, we would give them words of encouragement to then positively reinforce that behavior. And now, of course, we worked on the technical abilities of the players because you can't win a game if the players can't make 2 passes. And now I'm not saying that when we encouraged the players, we went and won every single game. But we went from not winning a single game in our first 3 weeks to winning 5 out of 10 games. And it was so amazing to see how a few words of genuine encouragement made such a huge difference, not just in the performance of the team, but in the attitude of the players. Now, if you have someone in your life that's trying to learn something for the first time, I promise you, a few words of genuine encouragement can make a huge difference to that person. And now I'm not saying that you need to text them every day and tell them, oh, you got this, oh, good luck. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about genuinely recognizing when that person is taking the right steps forward and giving them a nice pat on the back and saying, I'm proud of you for doing what you're doing. Be kind to others. I promise you there's a lot of people in this world that don't have people that are kind to them in their lives. So a few words of genuine encouragement can go a long way with someone. And now that brings me to my final job, which is a transfer pricing analyst at one of the big four. And now the biggest takeaway I've had so far is the power of self-belief. Now in my first few weeks, I was nervous, I was overwhelmed, and I was feeling the imposter syndrome. And I honestly started to doubt my own ability. But then I reminded myself of what me and the head coach did with our football team. We gave them words of encouragement. And now this doesn't only apply with other people. You can also give yourself words of encouragement. And that's exactly what I started to do. So for example, if I was assigned a task and I did a good job, I would give myself a nice pat on the back. And I would tell myself, bravo ya Omar, you got this. You did this task, you can do the next one. And then I would be assigned another task. And when I completed that task, again, I would tell myself, bravo ya Omar. And it's almost like, I even do this today, by the way. Whenever I'm given a task and I complete it, I tell myself, bravo ya Omar. Because you see, you can go and encourage everyone in this world, but sometimes forget to encourage yourself. And that's something that's made a huge difference for me at the job. And by the way, this isn't something that you're gonna do for the first few weeks and then completely stop this. This is something that you wanna be doing with yourself along the journey of your life. Okay, that sounds so deep, the journey of your life, but you get what I mean. Whenever you find yourself exhibiting positive behavior, tell yourself, bravo ya Omar. Now, of course, you're not going to say bravo ya Omar to yourself, but you get my point. Because the more you encourage yourself, the more you will start to believe in yourself. Because like I said in my previous language learning video, if you don't even believe in yourself, then how on earth do you expect yourself to achieve what you want? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed our conversation and that I've given you something to think about. Let me know in the comments down below which of these lessons resonated the most with you. And also let me know what you've learned from the jobs that you've worked or any of the experiences that you've had. I'd love to hear about them. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. And like I always say, this is the Devos way, find your own way. I hope to see you soon. Peace!